All right, let's jump straight into this. Top news of the day. We have an earthquake that started in Maine and hit all the way in England. Weird.
Well, yes, there was an earthquake this morning, and people here in southern New England felt it.
Well, the quake was actually centered off the coast of Maine. Here's how some people there described it.
And it was boom, and then instantly, like all at once, the whole house was shaking, and I looked up and the lights were swinging.
All of a sudden, I mean, it would sound like a truck or an airplane engine or something. I mean, and the house shook at the same time.
It felt like a crash, like something something big landed on the house to me. And then you feel a little tremors afterwards, a few seconds. It went on for a few seconds afterwards.
A couple of things fell off my shelf, but we literally thought that something exploded.
Katie McNeil talked to a local seismologist.
Well, what they're saying is I've been in an earthquake and you can't hear them rumble. You can hear the shake, but like explosion, something landing on a rooftop. I don't know. Just the way that they're talking about it is interesting.
Just about it, and tells us how strong the quake was. Katie?
We've been tracking reports from several of our viewers Monday morning and afternoon describing a brief shake that could be comparable to a large truck driving by. This was due to a 3.8 magnitude earthquake near the Maine coastline with a radius that could be felt over 100 miles away. At approximately 10:22 a.m. Monday, an earthquake was felt across New England. Residents of southern coastal Maine were the closest to the epicenter and felt the strongest tremors. Several calls were put out to Maine police shortly after it occurred.
Yeah, we're not sure what's going on. We're getting calls from all over town about an explosion.
Here's an aerial view of where the earthquake happened, about 6.5 miles from your...
Oh, 3.8. Let's see. How bad is a 3.8 earthquake? So usually earthquakes are about 3s or 4s. Well, I'm saying this is a 3.8, but it shook so far. Are they sure they classified it right? Like, what size earthquake would destroy a house? A 5 to 6? All right, so it was big, but I'm not going to say but from what I'm hearing, it don't sound like nothing fell apart or broke or anything.
York Harbor, Maine. The epicenter of the quake was 12 feet below the surface offshore from the mainland. This map from the U.S. Geological Survey shows just how far away seismic waves were felt, as far west as New York State. Providence, which had hundreds of reports, is roughly 90 miles away from the epicenter. I spoke with Brian Savage, a geoscientist professor at the University of Rhode Island, about why that is.
When we have earthquakes that are on the East Coast or in New England, the seismic energy radiates very far away because it loses energy very slowly, as opposed to in California where the ground is warmer, the ground is more broken up because of all the faults. There's not a lot of continuity, and so we get a lot more energy loss in say California or Southern.
All right, so pretty much what he's saying is that the land masses on the East Coast are still more solid and intact. So once the energy starts flowing through, it just continues through, so you can feel it further. But out here on the West Coast, with there being more faults and just more canyons and open land and stuff, and with the temperature, I don't know how the temperature plays in, but he said the temperature. But with the temperature and just like the differences in the heights of the ground and faults, which are like underneath the ground, they're more separated. So the energy will start and then it doesn't transfer as much because there's space between it.
California than we do on the East Coast.
The USGS says that there is a 50% chance of at least one magnitude 3 plus aftershock within the next week. But the good news is the National Tsunami Warning Center said there was no tsunami danger from this quake. In studio, I'm meteorologist Katie McNeil, 12 News.
Does her face look like, I don't know, it just looks like it lacks mobility. But that's neither here nor there. That's what you need to know about the earthquake. So this is on the top news, but it doesn't seem like it was detrimental. It just scared a lot of people, which okay, I understand. I've been in earthquakes. They can be scary, but I thought something happened.